I just think I need them to feast their eyes. Feast your eyes on the Seiko SRP 655 with crocodile leather. Hey man, this isn't watch time, this is philosophy time. Wait a minute. It's always watch time for me. Don't tell me it's not watch time because the watchman is always on, is never off. Just stop it and please give them the presentation that is in the focus of today. All right, please? Okay, I apologize. Forget feasting your eyes on the Seiko SRP 655, 50 millimeters, black ceramic tune. That would be horrible if I just talked about watches all day. I would never do that to you. That's disgusting. We're here to talk about, it's a philosophy day. And Johnny Casual and I were talking about the noble slacker. And I thought, well, maybe I should write a book. And then another voice in me said, maybe you should just do a 10-minute video presentation. Books? Who's got time for books? Who has time to write books? Who has time to read books? You do not. So, do like a 15-minute video presentation. The noble slacker. What can we say about him? I don't know how many of you who watch this are from America or outside of America, but if you're not from America, let me give you a little orientation. My guess is because American popular culture through media, through television, through movies is so widely spread, you probably know this anyway. But just in case, let me go over this for you. When you're an American, you're conditioned from a very early life to wake up in the morning and look at your ceiling, and at the top of your ceiling is this giant green butt, the giant green butt of blind ambition. So you wake up in America and you look at the ceiling and there's this giant green buttocks of blind ambition. It has a big dollar bill sign on it. And here in America, we've been conditioned to engage in the ritual. You know, some countries, you kiss the ring of the prince, you kiss the ring of the king. In America, you wake up in the morning and you kiss the giant green butt of ambition. It's a ritual. And then in America, by fulfilling this ritual, we look at you and we say, oh, you are a real American. You have strong moral character. You have discipline. We love you. Now, there's another type of American that we're going to talk about today. He is called the noble slacker, popularized by the dude in the amazing, legendary Coen Brothers movie, The Big Lebowski. Now, the dude, unlike most Americans, does not wake up in the morning and look at the big, giant, fat, green buttocks of blind ambition and kiss it. He doesn't play that. What I want to tell you about this type of noble slacker, and Johnny and I were having an email discussion about this earlier. His sensibility, and Johnny just emailed me, his sensibility is not American at all. It actually derives from European and Middle Eastern cafe society. These are societies where the man, and maybe it's not particularly politically correct, maybe it was a patriarchal society, but it allowed men, even fathers, to just go to the cafe and just luxuriate in the world of ideas. And so the first distinguishing characteristic about the noble slacker is that unlike Americans who always have to be productive, always have to be working on self-promotion, always have to be working on self-improvement. Oh, you're not going to the gym? After work, I go to the gym. I'm always working on myself, making carrot smoothies. Wow! So the noble savage just likes to relax in cafe society. That's his sensibility. It's very un-American, and it's very, very European, very Middle Eastern even. The second distinguishing characteristic about the noble slacker is that he loves the art of fine distinctions. He can use all these expository methods to distinguish things like different digital musical formats for MP3. He explores all the different qualities of sound. He'll talk about scratch resistance and stainless steel versus titanium. He'll talk about using a conventional grinder for coffee beans versus the superior burr grinder. He'll know all the mechanics. He'll know how the burr grinder beans have greater surface area, producing more richness of robust coffee flavor for your great morning pleasures. He'll talk about the difference between hemp protein and pea protein and assimilation of amino acids. He really delights in the art of fine distinction. That's two. Number three, the third distinguishing characteristic of the noble slacker is that unlike Americans who are obsessed with self-improvement, going to the gym, reading self-help books, self-promotion, are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Facebook? Do you have a social media presence? Lord have mercy, you are really behind the curveball there. You're behind the 8-ball there, sir. You know, he doesn't give a damn about those types of things. Productivity doesn't fascinate him at all. He's not a materialist. For him, ideas are just as tantalizing and delicious as the pecan pie is for the gourmandise, or the Rolex deep sea dweller is for the watch obsessive. He can just find himself endlessly fascinated with ideas and doesn't need to get on the treadmill of self-improvement. Are you being productive? Productivity. And not surprisingly, number four, the fourth distinguishing characteristic, you know, most Americans identify themselves with their economic stratum in their job, and the noble slacker will have no part of that. His identity, he fiercely protects it from any such contamination of economic stratum and job, because he sees that as fake, and he sees that as diluting who he really is, and he would never do that. Not surprisingly, the fifth characteristic is that he rejects the American script of mindless consumerism. He knows that if you take materialism too far, you lose your appreciation for the arts, for culture, for reading, for ideas, and as a result, you become the tragic figure seen through the perception of the noble slacker. You become the Philistine. To call someone a Philistine is to say one of the most insulting things. You've just said that this person has lost all appreciation for art, culture, and ideas, and this person is so pathetically bullheaded and ignorant and stubborn in his materialism and consumerism that he can only define himself with material goods. And that's why it's important not to have a watch day every day, but have a philosophy day and try to get out of some of our materialistic euphoria and intoxication. Number six, very interesting. The noble slacker can read a book like Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and he can look at wonderful people in this world. For example, I had a student who used to be a drug addict, and now he counsels drug addicts. And the noble slacker can say, for some people, I appreciate and I respect that for some people, there is meaning in life. However, most noble slackers see the world as a senseless, random universe, and the senselessness and the randomness and the craziness and the chaos defies meaning. And the noble slacker doesn't really believe that there is any meaning or higher purpose other than this, to cultivate really deep connections with himself, with others, and with the community. So he's not a nihilist. He's not a miscreant. He does believe in establishing deep connections with people and himself. And in that regard, he's a very positive member of society, in that he contributes to one of the most important foundations of a healthy, thriving, flourishing society, and that's what I would call self-interested altruism and moral reciprocity. All successful societies and civilizations throughout time have had those qualities, and he would be part of that as well. Number seven, the The noble slacker never sees himself as a noble slacker. He never affects the pose of a noble slacker. He is truly childlike in his fascination with things and with his curiosity for things. If he had to define himself, he might call himself a cosmopolitan, an open-minded cosmopolitan, or as one viewer of my channel made a wonderful reference, a flaneur, Flaneur, a flaneur, a passionate wanderer of the universe, a passionate wanderer of the world. In fact, one of my friends, a musician and a cosmopolitan, Adam, if you're watching this, hello, good to see you. You know who you are. You wrote a song called The Flaneur. It was a wonderful song, and I think he would see himself that way. And by the way, my spell check dictionary on this computer didn't even have flaneur in it. I'm sure it's a French origin word, but hey, that is pathetic, man. Update that spell check on the computer dictionary. This is supposed to be a hipster iMac computer. You don't have flaneur in here? You are a disgrace. Anyways, I digress. Number 8. The noble slacker is curious about human beings and engages with people as human beings, unlike most Americans who look at other people as a business opportunity. Maybe I could sell something. Maybe everything's like a business opportunity with Americans, because when you're spending time with people, you need to be productive. This is a moment of self-improvement. This is an opportunity. Everything's a business opportunity in America. Yeah! Kiss that giant green buttocks of blind ambition, America. I think we need noble slackers. They're like an implicit critique of some American excesses that we need to deal with. He says, as he gawks at his 50mm SRP 655, "You, sir, are no one to judge." That's correct. Number 9, he is constantly curious about new things. He wouldn't be the guy, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, who every Friday would go to the same restaurant, sit in the same table, and order the same meal. Though, the more I think about it, I think the slacker does have his routines and his comforts and his rituals, but I don't think to the degree that they would kill his curiosity for open-mindedness and exploring new things. And finally, the 10th distinguishing characteristic of the noble slacker is that he has a voracious appetite for reading. He is always reading. He's reading hard copies of new books, hard copies of used books. He's reading electronic books. He's reading magazines. He's always reading because he has this endless fascination with ideas. I think too many Americans, when they do read, it's got to be like self-improvement, self-help, the 10 characteristics of successful blah, 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 how to make more money, blah, blah, how to be more productive, blah, blah, how to maximize your profits, blah, blah, blah. Too many Philistine-level books, which, the noble slacker would have no part of those books. One of my favorite books of all time, which doesn't talk about the noble slacker specifically, but it's called Class, A Guide Through the American Status System by Paul Fussell, a hilarious book about America's obsession with our social class. There is a chapter at the end. I think he calls them X people, and I think they are very close to, they have a lot of characteristics that I discussed, not a lot, but they have some of the noble slacker. Paul Fussell wrote a masterpiece, Class, A Guide Through the American Status System. I haven't checked. My guess, it's still in publication, still being printed. It's a wonderful book. What I like about the idea of the noble slacker is, as I said, I think he is an implicit critique of a lot of American excesses, and I don't even think he's very American in many ways. I think he's more European, more Middle Eastern in sensibility. And there are a lot of people like this in America, but it's clearly a subculture. And if you have any comments, if you yourself see yourself as a noble slacker, and if I missed a distinguishing characteristic, please let me know. I want to improve on this. This is not the Bible. This is not, set in stone. I'll revise this presentation if I have to, but I am fascinated by the idea of it. And until next time, I am out.